We're here on the red carpet of the White House Correspondents' Dinner, where we spoke with former Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley about his potential run for president. We got Hollywood, a lot of Hollywood here. You were recently in Hollywood.
I was here just 2 days ago.
2 days ago? How did it go? You were fundraising?
Yeah, I was meeting with individual people and talking to them about the future of our country as I look at possibly running for president in 2016.
Now, what would separate you from Hillary Clinton? How would you differentiate yourself?
Well, I would bring to this offering 15 years of executive experience, running a big city, running a state, getting difficult things done, and actually making my state a safer and more prosperous state as a result of it. And it's also what I would bring, I believe, is a new perspective from a new generation that is different than that of my older baby boomer brothers and sisters. It's about getting things done. It's about looking over the horizon to a more diverse and just America and how we make it so.
Some are suspecting that foreign policy could play an even bigger role compared to the last presidential election. Would you be focusing on foreign policy, and if so, would you be able to compete against a former Secretary of State?
Well, I certainly haven't traveled as widely as Secretary Clinton. I'm not sure any American has traveled as widely as a former Secretary of State. But I have led trade delegations all around the world, and I understand that the first job of the Commander-in-Chief is to protect all of us, keep us secure. And you can't do that in isolation. You have to be engaged with like-minded nations around the world. Even as we make ourselves stronger at home, we have to be working in collaboration with other nations on things like climate change, making this transition to a renewable energy economies, and really the cause of a rising middle class around the world. Hard to create stable democracies around the world if you can't create the building blocks for a stronger middle class.
What would be the deciding factor for you to jump in the race or not?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we're at the last turn in the bend. There are many factors. And right now, the most important thing is to know that in my heart and in my head that I have a clear alternative to offer, and that I truly believe that it's a better way forward for our country. Once you arrive at that clarity, then it's up to the people to decide, and I'm almost there.
Now, Hillary's expected to raise $2.5 billion. It's a lot of money, way more than Obama even did. How do the Democrats raise that kind of money in a presidential election and then also articulate their opposition to Citizens United at the same time?
I think it's very hard, or to say that we're a party that can actually put regulations in place on Wall Street in order to protect us from another crash. There are many things we've done as a party these last 8 years, but there's some jobs that remain undone. Wages are not yet going up for the majority of Americans, and we still haven't completed the job of regulating Wall Street. And people around the country, I'm sensing, feel that there's been such a concentration of wealth and power, not only in our economy, but also in our politics. And the presidency is not a crown to be passed back and forth between two royal families. It is a sacred and awesome trust to be earned and exercised on behalf of the common good of the people of our country. And I think that's what people are looking for. They want somebody that's going to fight, and fight on their side. Because right now, to most Americans, this looks like a rigged game economically, and it looks like a rigged game politically. So the good thing, though, is that however much money any of these candidates raise from powerful interests, the people of Iowa and the people of New Hampshire get to make the first decision, and no amount of money can keep you from getting in a van and going door to door.
Would you be running against President Obama's record on some issues, or would you be wholeheartedly supporting him?
I'd be running for my country. I mean, look, we elected President Obama president. We didn't elect a magician. He's done a lot of good things, and we can build on those things, but there's still a lot of work to do.
In Washington, I'm Nicholas Ballasy.